Hello and welcome back to Now Read This, the story of King Arthur and his knights by Howard Pyle, continuing on after Arthur conquers the 4 knights and sends them to Lady Guinevere. So chapter 4th in this part of the story, how the 4 knights served the Lady Guinevere. Now when King Arthur returned to Cameliard once more, which fell upon the afternoon of a 2nd day, he found the gardener waiting for him, exceedingly filled with wrath. And the gardener had a long birchen rod, which he had fetched thither for to punish his boy withal, when that he should have returned to the garden again. So when he saw King Arthur, he said,
"Thou knave, wherefore didst thou quit thy work to go a-gadding?"
And King Arthur laughed and said, "Touch me not." At this the gardener waxed so exceeding wroth that he catched the king by the collar of his jerkin with intent to beat him, saying,
"Dost thou laugh at me, knave, and make mock of me? Now I will beat thee well for the offence thou hast committed."
Then when King Arthur felt that man's hand laid upon him, and when he heard the words that the gardener spake in his wrath, his royal spirit waxed very big within him, and he cried out, "Ha, wretch! Wouldst thou dare to lay thy hands upon my sacred person?" So saying, he seized the gardener by the wrists and took the rod straight away from him and struck him with it across the shoulders. And when that poor knave felt himself thus in the powerful grasp of the angry king, and when he felt the rod upon his shoulders, he straightway lifted up a great outcry, albeit the blow hurt him not a whit. "Now get thee gone," quoth King Arthur, "and trouble me no more, else will I serve thee in a way that will not at all be like thee." Herewith he loosed that poor man and let him go, and the gardener was so bemazed with terror that both the earth and the sky swam before him. For King Arthur's eyes had flashed upon him like lightning, and those 2 hands had held his wrists with wonderful power. Wherefore, when the king let him go, he gat away as quickly as might be, all trembling and sweating with a great fear. So he went straight to the Lady Guinevere and complained to her that the manner in which he had been treated.
"Lady,"
quoth he, weeping with the memory of his terror,
"my boy goeth away for a day or more, I know not whither, and when I would whip him for quitting his work, he taketh the rod straight away from me and beateth me with it. Wherefore now, I prithee, deal with him as is fitting. Let several strong men drive him away from this place with rods."
Then the Lady Guinevere laughed. "Let be," she said, "and meddle with him no more, for indeed he appeareth to be a very saucy fellow. As for thee, take thou no heed of his coming or his going, and haply I will deal with him in such a way as shall be fitting." Whereupon the gardener went his way, greatly marvelling that the Lady Guinevere should be so mild in dealing with that toward knave. And the Lady Guinevere went her way, very merry, for she began to bethink her that there was soothly some excellent reason why it should happen that when the white champion, who did such wonderful deeds, should come thither, that the gardener's boy should go, and that when the same champion should go, then the gardener's boy should come thitherward again. Wherefore she suspected many things, and was wonderfully merry and cheerful of spirit. Now, that day in the afternoon, the Lady Guinevere chanced to walk in the garden with her damsels, and with her walked those 4 noble knights who had been sent thither by her white champion, to wit, Sir Gawain, Sir Ewain, Sir Geraint, and Sir Pelleas. And the gardener's lad was digging in the gardens, and as they passed by where he was, the Lady Guinevere laughed aloud and cried out, "Look, look, messires and ladies, yonder is a very saucy fellow for to be a gardener's lad, for he continually weareth his cap, even when he standeth in the presence of lords and ladies." Then Sir Gawain up and spake, saying,
"Is it even so? Now will I straightway go to yonder knave, and will take his hat off for him, and that in a way so greatly to his misliking, that I do not believe he will ever offend by wearing it in our presence again."
At this the Lady Guinevere laughed a very great deal. "Let be," she said, "let be, Sir Gawain. It would be ill beseem one so gentle as thou art to have to do with yonder saucy fellow. Moreover, he doth assure us all that he hath an ugly place upon his head, Wherefore let him wear his cap in God's mercy."
Thus the Lady Guinevere, though she suspected a very great deal, was yet pleased to make a mock of him whom she suspected. Now that day Duke Mordaunt of Northumber had entirely recovered from those sore hurts that he had suffered from his overthrow at the hands of the White Champion. Wherefore the next morning having come, he appeared again before the castle, as he had appeared aforetime, clad all in complete armour. So this time there rode before him 2 heralds, and when the Duke and the 2 heralds had come to that part of the meadows that lay immediately before the castle of Camelyard, the heralds blew their trumpets exceedingly loud. So at the sound of the trumpets many people came and gathered upon the walls, and King Leodegrance came, and took stand upon a lesser tower that looked down upon the plain, where were the Duke of Northumber and the 2 heralds. Then the Duke of Northumber lifted up his eyes, and beheld King Leodegrance, where he stood over above him upon the top of that tower, and he cried out in a loud voice, "What ho, King Leodegrance! Thou shalt not think because I suffered a fall from my horse through the mischance of an assault at arms, that thou art therefore quit of me. Yet ne'ertheless I do now make this fair proffer unto thee. Tomorrow day I shall appear before this castle with 6 knights companion. Now, if thou hast any 7 knights who are able to stand against me and my companions in an assault at arms, whether with spears or swords, or a horse or a foot, then shall I engage myself for to give over all pretence whatsoever under the hand of the Lady Guinevere. But if thou canst not provide such champions to contend successfully against me and my knights companion, then shall I not only lay claim to Lady Guinevere, but I shall likewise seize upon and shall hold for mine own 3 certain castles of thine that stand upon the borders of Northumber. And likewise I shall seize upon and shall hold for mine own all the lands and glebs appertaining unto those same castles. Moreover, this challenge of mine shall hold only until tomorrow at set of sun, after that which time it shall be null and void. Wherefore, King Leodegrance, thou hadst best look to it straightway to provide thee with such champions as may defend thee from these demands aforesaid." Hereupon those 2 heralds blew their trumpets once more, and Duke Mordaunt of Northumber turned his horse about and went away from that place. Then King Leodegrance also went his way, very sorrowful and downcast in his spirits, for he said to himself, "Is it at all likely that another champion shall come unto me, like that wonderful White Champion who came 2 days since, I know not whence, for to defend me against mine enemies? And touching that same White Champion, if I know not whence he came, so also I know not whither he hath departed. How then shall I know where to seek him to beseech his further aid in this time of mine extremity?" Wherefore he went his way, very sorrowful, and wist not what he was to do, for to defend himself. So being thus exceedingly troubled in his spirit, he went straight unto his own room, and there shut himself therein, nor would he see any man, nor speak unto any one, but gave himself over entirely unto sorrow and despair. Now in this extremity the Lady Guinevere bethought her of those 4 knights who had been pledged for to serve her for 7 days. So she went unto them where they were, and she bespoke them in this wise: "Messires, ye have been sent thither pledged for to serve me for 7 days. Now I do ordain it of thee that you will take this challenge of Duke Mordaunt upon you at my behest, and I do much desire that you go forth tomorrow day for to meet this Duke of Northumber and his knights companions in battle. For ye are terribly powerful knights, and I do believe ye may easily defend us against our enemies." But Sir Gawain said, "Not so, lady, not so. For though we are pledged unto thy service, yet are we not pledged unto the service of King Leodegrance thy father, nor have we quarrel of any sort with this Duke of Northumber, nor with his 6 knights companion, for we are knights of King Arthur, his court, nor may we, except at his command, take any foreign quarrel upon us in the service of another king."
This is one of the reasons I don't like Sir Gawain. He's a little bit of a twat." Then was the Lady Guinevere exceedingly angry, wherefore she said with great heat, "Either thou art a wonderfully faithful lord unto thy king, Sir Gawain, or else thou fearest to meet this Duke of Northumber and his knights companion." And at this speech of the Lady Guinevere's, Sir Gawain was also exceedingly wroth, wherefore he made reply, "An thou wert a knight, and not a lady, Dame Guinevere, thou wouldst think 3 or 4 times ere thou wouldst find courage to speak those words unto me." Whereupon he arose, and went out from that place with a countenance all inflamed with wrath. And the Lady Guinevere went away also from that place, and to her bower, where she wept a very great deal, both from sorrow and from anger. Now all this while King Arthur had been very well aware of everything that passed, wherefore he by and by arose, and went out and found the gardener. And he took the gardener strongly by the collar of his coat, and held him where he was, and he said to him, "Sirrah, I have a command to set upon thee, and thou shalt perform that command to the letter, else, and thou perform it not, a very great deal of pain may befall thee." Herewith speaking, he thrust his hand into the bosom of his jerkin, and brought forth thence that necklace of pearls, which the Lady Guinevere had given him from about her neck. And he said further unto the gardener, "Thou shalt take this necklace to the Lady Guinevere, and thou shalt say to her thus, that she is to send me forth with bread and meat and wine and comforts from her own table. And thou shalt say unto her that I desire her to summon those 4 knights, to wit, Sir Gawain, Sir Ewain, Sir Geraint, and Sir Pelleas, and that she is to bid those 4 for to come and serve me with those things for my refreshment. And thou art to say unto her that she is to lay her commands upon those knights, that they are further to serve me according as I may command, and that they are henceforth to be my servants, and not her servants. And these are the commands that I lay upon thee, that thou art to say these things unto the Lady Guinevere." Now when the gardener heard these words, he was so astonished that he wist not what to think, for he deemed that the gardener's lad had gone altogether mad. Wherefore he lifted up his voice and cried aloud, "How now? What is this thou sayest? Verily, should I do such a thing as this thou bidst me to do? Either it will cost me my life, or else it will cost thee thy life. For who would dare for to say such words unto the Lady Guinevere?" But King Arthur said, "Nevertheless, thou shalt surely do as I command thee, sirrah. For if thou disobey in one single point, then I do assure thee, it will go exceedingly ill with thee. For I have it in my power for to make thee suffer as thou hast never suffered before." And upon this the gardener said, I will go. For he said unto himself, "If I do as this fellow biddeth me, then will the Lady Guinevere have him punished in great measure, and so I shall be revenged upon him for what he did unto me yesterday. Moreover, it irks me exceedingly that I should have a lad for to work in the garden who behaves as this fellow does. Wherefore," he said, "I will go." So he took that necklace of pearls that King Arthur gave him, and he went forth, and after a while he found the Lady Guinevere where she was. And when he had found her, he bespoke her in this wise. "Lady, my garden boy hath assuredly gone entirely mad, for under the threat of certain great harm he would do unto me, and I performed not his errand, he hath sent me to offer a very grievous affront unto thee. For he hath sent me with this string of large beads for to give to thee, and he bids to me to tell thee that thou art to send him bread and meat and sweetmeats and wine, such as thou usest at thine own table, and he bids me to tell thee that these things are to be served to him by the 4 noble knights who came hither the day before yesterday. And he saith that thou art to command those same knights that they are to obey him in whatsoever he may command, for that they are henceforth to be his servants, and not thine. And indeed, lady, he would listen to naught that I might say to him contrariwise, and he hath threatened me with dire injury, and I came not hither and delivered this message unto thee." Now when the Lady Guinevere heard what the gardener said, and when she beheld the necklace which she had given unto that white champion, and when she wist that the white champion and the gardener's boy were indeed one, she was uplifted with an exceeding joy, wherefore she knew not whether to laugh or whether to weep for that pure joy. So she arose and took the necklace of pearls, and she bade the gardener for to come with her. Then she went forth until she found those 4 knights, and when she had found them, she spake unto them thus: My lords, a while sin when I commanded thee for to take my quarrel with Duke Mordaunt of Northumber upon you for my sake, ye would not do so. And thou, my lord Gawain, didst speak such angry words as are not fitting that one who serveth should speak unto his mistress, far less that a knight should speak unto the daughter of a king. Accordingly, I have it in my mind that ye shall perform a certain thing by way of a penance, which, an ye refuse to do, I will know very well that ye do not intend to fulfill that word which ye plighted to my knight when he overthrew you all 4 in fair combat. Now my command is this, that ye take certain food prepared for my table, meats and white bread, and sweetmeats and wine, and that ye take that food unto my gardener's boy, whose cap, Sir Gawain, thou didst threaten so valorously for to take away from him this very morning. And ye 4 are to serve the food unto him, as though he were a royal knight. And when ye have so served him, you are to obey him in whatsoever he may ordain. And this I put upon ye as a penalty, because ye took not my quarrel upon ye, as true knights should. For hereafter ye are to be servants unto that gardener's boy, and not unto me. Wherefore ye are now to go unto the buttery of the castle, and ye are to bid the sewer for to give you meats, such as are served upon mine own table. And the food ye are to serve upon silver plates, and the wine ye are to serve in silver cups and goblets. And ye are to minister unto that gardener's boy, as though he were a great lord of exceeding fame and renown. Thus spake the Lady Guinevere, and when she had spoken, she turned and left those 4 knights, and she took with her the gardener, who was so astonished at that which he had heard, that he wist not whither he had gone mad, or whether the Lady Guinevere had gone mad. And the Lady Guinevere bade the gardener to go to the gardener's boy, and to tell him that all things should be fulfilled according to his commands. And so the gardener did as he was told. Now turn we to those 4 knights whom the Lady Guinevere had left, for they were bemazed and abashed at the singular commands she had set upon them. And when they recovered from their amazement, they were inflamed with exceeding indignation, that for that time they wist not whether that which they saw with their eyes was the light of day, or whether it was altogether darkness. Nor could one of them look at another in the face, so overcome were they with shame at the affront that had been put upon them. Then up and spake Sir Gawain, and his voice so trembled with exceeding anger that he could scarce contain it for to speak his words. Messires, quoth he, do ye not see how that this lady hath wantonly put great affront upon us, because we would not do that which she this morning bade us to do, and because we would not take up her quarrel against the Duke of Northumber? Now we will indeed serve this gardener's boy, even as she hath ordained. For we will serve him with meat and drink as she hath commanded, and we will render our service unto him as she hath bidden us to do. But observe ye, we are no longer her servants, but we are his servants, wherefore we may serve him as we choose for to do. So, when we have fulfilled her commands, and have served him with meat and drink, and when we have obeyed all the behests he layeth upon us, then do I make my vow that I, with mine own hands, shall slay that gardener's boy, and when I have slain him, I will put his head into a bag, and I will send that bag unto Lady Guinevere by the meanest carrier whom I can find for that purpose. And so this proud lady shall receive an affront as great as that affront which she hath put upon us. And they all said that that which Sir Gawain had planned should be exactly as he had said. So those 4 lords went unto the sewer of the castle, and they asked for the best of that food which was to be served unto the Lady Guinevere, meats and bread and sweetmeats and wine. Then they took them silver plates and platters, and they placed the food upon them, and then they took silver cups and silver goblets, and they poured the wine into them. And they went forth with these things. And when they had come back of the castle nigh to the stables, they found the gardener's boy, and they bade him sit down and eat and to drink. And they waited upon him as though he had been some great lord, and not one of those 4 knights wist who he was, nor that he was the great king whose servant they, soothly, were. For he wore his cap of disguise upon his head, wherefore they deemed him to be only a poor peasant fellow. Now when Sir Ewain beheld that he still wore his cap before them, he spake unto him with great indignation, saying, Ha! Villain, wouldst thou wear thy cap even in the presence of great princes and lords such as we be? Unto this Sir Gawain said, Let be it matters not. And then he said very bitterly unto the gardener's boy, Eat thou well, sirrah, for thou shalt hardly eat another meal of food upon this earth. To this the gardener's boy made reply, Sir knight, that haply shall lie unto another will than thine for to determine. For maybe I shall eat many other meals than this, and maybe ye shall serve at them as ye are serving me now. And those 4 lords were astonished beyond measure that he should bespeak them thus so calmly and without any appearance of fear. Then, after he had eaten, the gardener's boy said unto those knights, Behold, messires, I have had enough and am done, and now I have other commands for you to fulfill. And my next command is that ye shall make ready straightway to go abroad with me, and to that end ye shall clothe yourselves with complete armour. And thou, Sir Gawain, shalt go to the head stable keeper of this castle, and thou shalt demand of him that he shall make ready the Lady Guinevere's palfrey, so that I may straightway ride forth upon it. And when ye are all encased in your armour, and when everything is duly appointed according to my command, ye shall bring that palfrey unto the postern gate of the castle, and there I shall meet ye, for to ride forth with you. And Sir Gawain said, It shall be done in every way, according as thou dost command. But when we ride forth from this castle, it shall be a sorry journey for thee. And the gardener's boy said, I think not so, Sir Gawain. Then those 4 went away, and did according as the gardener's boy commanded. And when they had made themselves ready in full array of armour, and when they had obtained the Lady Guinevere's palfrey, they went unto the postern gate, and there the gardener's boy met them. And when he saw that they sat their horses, and that they moved not at his coming, he said, Ha, messires, would ye so entreat him whom ye have been ordained to serve? Now I do bid ye, Sir Gawain, and Sir Ewain, for to come down and hold my stirrup for me. And I bid ye, Sir Geraint, and Sir Pelleas, for to come down and to hold my palfrey for me, whiles I mount. Then those 4 noble knights did as they were commanded. And Sir Gawain said, Thou mayst command as thou dost list, and I do bid thee to make the most of it whilst thou mayst do so, for thou shalt have but a little while longer for to enjoy the great honour that thou hast fallen upon. For that honour which hath fallen upon thee, lo, it shall presently crush thee unto death. And the gardener's boy said, Not so. I believe I shall not die yet whiles. And again those 4 lords were greatly astonished at the calmness of his demeanour. And so they rode forth from that place, and the gardener's boy would not permit that they should ride either before or beside him, but he commanded that they should ride behind him, whiles they were still servants unto him. So they rode as he assigned them for a considerable way. Then, after they had gone forward a great distance, they drew nigh to a gloomy and dismal woodland that lay entirely beyond the country co-adjacent to Camelyard. Then, when they had come nigh unto this woodland, Sir Gawain rode a little forward and said, Sir gardener's boy, seest thou yonder woodland? Now when we come into it, thou shalt immediately die, and that by a sword thou hast never yet been touched by any but noble or knightly blood. And King Arthur turned him about in his saddle, and he said, Ha, Sir Gawain, wouldst thou ride forward thus, when I bid thee to ride behind me? And as he spake, he took the cap from off his head, and lo, they all beheld that it was King Arthur who rode with them. Then a great silence of pure astonishment fell upon them all, and each man sat as though he were turned into an image of stone. And it was King Arthur who spake first, and he said, Ha! How now, sir knights? Have you no words of greeting for to pay me? Certes, ye have served me with very ill grace this day. Moreover, ye have threatened to slay me, and now when I speak to you, ye say naught in reply. Then those 4 knights immediately cried out aloud, and they leapt down from off their horses, and they kneeled down into the dust of the road. And when King Arthur beheld them kneeling there, he laughed with great joyfulness of spirit, and he bade them for to mount their horses again, for the time was passing by when there was much to do. So they mounted their horses and rode away, and as they journeyed forward, the king told them all that had befallen him, so that they were greatly amazed, and gave much acclaim unto the knightliness with which he had borne himself in those excellent adventures through which he had passed. And they rejoiced greatly that they had a king for to rule over them, who was possessed of such a high and knightly spirit. So they rode to that arm of the forest where King Arthur had left his horse and his armour.
Hey, you want to buy something? You can check the description for my books and audiobooks. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.